What's up, Internet? That was really kind of Isabel to give us a free recipe. Let's just take a look at our DIYs. Yeah! Alright, that actually does look very beachy. I like that. Just one sec. Just gotta check my settings. I've been recording more Wii U stuff, so I gotta make sure everything's sized right. Yep, everything's good. Alright, I finished my Wii U recording, so now I just gotta go and do all the Switch recording. And then I can get my collection video done, which is exciting. Also, I got a new wetsuit and KK Blues and a thing from Judy. I don't know what this is, though. But apparently she wants me to use it to stay warm. So let's see what will keep us warm thanks to Judy. A cardigan. Not much of a cardigan kind of guy. Also, thieves costume. Also. Let's get rid of that. I got a new wetsuit anyway. Honestly, that just looks like a hoodie to me. That's a little bit less awful looking than the last one. What did we get from Gulliver? We got ourselves a dollar horse. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's adorable, and I think what was his name? I can't think of his name anymore. Colton had one of those in his house, except I think his was white. Still, that's very cool. Time to go see what the Able sisters are up to, but not before I catch me a big fancy bug that's going to get me some big fancy bells. Catch. Alright. Got ourselves a horned nest. We still need to find that other rhinoceros beetle. But that'll happen in time, I feel. Come on, have something cool for me today, Able sisters. I don't think that's a monocle. I think that's like a one of those weird doctor reflective doodads. I don't know what those are actually called. Oh, I have to take off my wetsuit. That still looks vaguely like a hoodie. Alright, fine. I will bend to your rules, Mabel. But only because I like you that much. Okay, so let's see if we can get anything cool from the Able sisters today. Dog, exclaims the jacket. Aw, they could at least have different dogs on the back. That looks kind of like Rock Howard's outfit, actually. I kind of like that. Ooh, those look comfy. Pants with zippers. We got frog suits, Kappa costumes, whatever. Ooh. I'm thinking we need to buy a couple of these for some people. So those are 2,000 each, so we could certainly afford it. Is there anything else I want here? A reflector. Also known as a metal reflective Dr. Doodads that I don't know the actual names of that are apparently called reflectors. Sure. I have no idea what the purpose of those are. I just know that they're constantly shown with doctors. And not really much else for me here. Still not seeing any flippers to swim faster. Okay. So we need that one. No, I'm not going to wear it. And I'm thinking the dark blue one will probably go to Celia. Because I think if they don't have black, dark blue is not a bad option. And I think green, of course, has to go to good old Annabelle. Ironically, I normally associate green and blue with the other way around, but what can you do? And then, of course, we need to get a pink one for good old Marina, because she's the best. And then I think I will get that Rock Howard jacket, because why not? I gotta play Garou again. I'm awful at fighting games, but Mark of the Wolves is such a good game. Okay, I'm gonna get myself a Rock Howard jacket, and no, I don't want to wear it, but that'll be useful for making costumes down the line. I want to finish my one perfect outfit first, and I still need one crucial bit that we still haven't gotten. Unfortunately, but hopefully moving forward we will get it. That's all based on random number generation, of course. I think we have all the sea stuff now that we've got the the awesome wreath from good old Isabelle. Big bear! But not the biggest bear. We actually need the mama bear to make the biggest bear. I don't see anything I need right now. That's okay, I guess. I mean, it's not great, but, you know, it's okay. Alright, so we've checked their stuff out. Wonder if anyone's at the plaza visiting today. Let's find out. Oh, KK's here. I forgot it was Saturday. You can tell how out of sorts I am. I'll leave it up to you because I can't think of a song right now. Well, if you picked one I didn't have, that would just be super there. Tota KK. Okay. So enjoy whatever song this is.
Mi na mi now mi na que now mi na mi now que mi 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 que mi na now mi 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 que mi na mi na mi now mi na que now mi na mi now que mi 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 que mi na now mi 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 que mi na mi na mi now mi na que now mi na mi now que mi 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 que mi na now mi 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 que mi na mi na mi now mi na que now mi na mi now que mi 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 que mi na now mi 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 que mi na mi na mi now mi na que now mi na mi now que mi 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 que mi na now mi mi mi
You know what's funny? It mentions Monolith Software, and just before this I was recording something by them for my collection video. But that's a song we didn't get, so KK is on the money! Thank you. Now we gotta go get ourselves a KK music player device, Mabob, which, fortunately, we are not lacking in those. Ah, I already actually have that removed. Okay, cool. KK March. Do I already have the other one? I do. Okay. Well, that's not great. I did spend bells on that yesterday. Also, given the look of the sky, there's a good chance we'll probably get some shooting stars and maybe see Celeste tonight. Which would be good, because I still really, really need that one DIY from her to work on my house. Oop, I'm seeing bubbles, which means we gotta go swimming. Wait, not that one. That one's ugly. That one's slightly less ugly. Woo! I do like that there is a unique diving animation for running into there. That's a nice touch. Come on, get me something new. Nope, just a crab. With weird flippy legs. To be fair, I've never seen a crab swim before, so, you know. I honestly didn't think they were actually capable of swimming. But I also live near no major body of water, so my experience in the field of marine biology is somewhat lacking. Despite the fact I studied it quite a lot when I was a kid. Because it was a very, very cool subject, I think. Oh, we already have a pencil urchin, though. I prefer a pen urchin myself. But that's because I've never made a mistake ever in my life. And therefore I write everything in pen. Like a sensible person. Ooh. That is a sea urchin. That is something we did not have before, so that's a big plus. And I think that means we've got... Ooh. Die for sea creatures. Not what I thought we were actually getting. I thought we were getting work on the Critterpedia again, but, you know. Points are points. They're all going to help us find new villagers in the future. Can't complain about that too much. Diving. Come on, something new. Nope. One of these guys that we probably should not be touching with our hands. Because, again, I'm pretty sure they have pretty bad stingers. Also, the stop and start on swimming is atrocious. It's like 2 seconds between stop and start. Deep dive. Alright. Bodyboarding. Is that what they're called? I always called them boogie boards. Oh well. Okay. Ooh. What is that? Redeem Nook miles. Okay. Well, we could get some Nook travel tickets today. Use them later, I guess. Just for the sake of getting some extra Nook miles. I don't see a reason not to, really. We got ourselves another urchin. Cool. I don't think we need two, but one of these can go to Blithers for sure. The other, I guess, will go to the Nooklings. And in turn, my bank account. What have we here? Perhaps we'll run into another scallop. Get some more awesome treasure stuff. Nope, another urchin. Interesting, because we didn't run into any urchins yesterday. Now I've run into like 3 in a row. I wonder if that's RNG, or I wonder if every day just has a certain pull of sea creatures you can find. What do we got this time? Oh, there's a scallop. Hey, there's an otter. He likes scallops, and I don't need one, so... all yours, buddy. I saw a shooting star. Here you go. You take it, you give me a thing for it. Uh-oh. Some people don't like driftwood, but I can really see where it's coming from, you know? Drifting? I guess? I'm seeing shooting stars. I need to pray to them, but... or whatever it is we do with shooting stars. I'm not sure I can do that while swimming, however. No, I can't. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Can I climb up here? No, I can't. Oh, no. We need to get to Red's Beach, and we need to get there, like, 2 minutes ago. Or alas, we will get no wishes from the star today. And I like wishes from the star today. Come on. Come on. Ooh, soggy. Now the problem is that we basically have to just wait, and that's really, really boring. And I want to do that. Hey, a mermaid closet? Yes, please. I'll take that. Well, not much for it, I guess. Where's my ladder? Until I get a wish, I'm not going back in the water, I guess. It's sort of like eating before going swimming. You just don't do it. You'll get cramps. And you'll drown. And there's no lifeguards on these beaches, which is kind of dangerous. Yeah, then. We can, fortunately, do a few things in the meantime. I would much rather be swimming and exploring this new set of items we could be collecting, but alas, Starbits call, and I need them. Some bug just ran off. No new purples. Oh, hey, we got another one of these guys. Cool, that is Tia. How you doing, Tia? What's the latest? It's always fun talking with you. Of course I'm having fun. I still have to give Marina her octopus. Oh, I don't even have the... I wanted to give you a thing, Celia. I'm sorry. I will be back with your thing at some point. Also, I just realized, you know, I can't look for stars if I'm in someone's house like a silly. Okay, so we got urchins at the very least. That's something new. Also, full moon. That looks nice. Hey, Drago. It's a neat day. Now, neat was all in capitals, so I'm guessing it stood for something. What specifically, I don't know. Never-ending animal transportation or something. Maybe that's what NEAT stands for. Alright, so I'm not seeing any more spots to dig up. There's one, though. Not looking at the sky this entire time. I have to basically work with audio cues. And the trick with that is I have my audio on low so that the microphone doesn't pick it up. So that's not great. But we'll figure it out. Hey, there's our bell tree. Gonna go make some bells, da-da-da. Also rocks. So we are running out of inventory space, and we should do something about that soon. Okay, we are making some right proper bells for some reason. Oh, good. My entire left controller just entirely desynced. I'm gonna have to send this in to get repaired again, I think. That sucks. The weird thing is, though, it doesn't seem to do that with other games, just this one, from what I've seen. I've had another game where the readings on it were a little weird, like sometimes it just didn't recognize a direction. Which is not great. But, yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to send this away for Joy-Con repairs again, and I did that not even 6 months ago. That's how sad this is. Nintendo's Joy-Con setup is depressing. Oh, I'm gonna plant this here. Looks like we got quite a few plants today from yesterday's rain. Speaking of, the weather outside today has been really odd. Like, it looked like a really hot, nice day for most of it, and then we just got hit by the weirdest, like, hailstorm ever. Swap with, I guess, this KK song, which we're gonna bury. I don't know how you bury music. I mean, isn't music basically, like, just a feeling, man, and stuff? So how do you bury music? Exactly. I feel like that's some sort of weird philosophical question. Slightly better than the kind Pascal poses, but not by much. Alright, come on. Yay! Money Rock, first shot. Not gonna say no to that. And now we've got a few more bells to play with. But what shall we do with these bells, I wonder? Probably just pay off our house. Do the sensible thing. The boring thing. Maybe I wanted to, you know, spend it on submarine lessons. Finally get that submarine I always wanted. You know, fun things. But no, we'll probably just pay off the house like a sensible adult. Alright. Well, let's go empty our pockets as much as we can, because this stuff I care not for being in my pocket. At least if I am not going to immediately sell it or give it to Blithers. So let's see what we can do. I keep doing that. I keep thinking, alright, I want this in storage, so first things first, I have to go to storage. That's not how that works. And I don't know why, after all this time, I still haven't figured that out. I don't really need to hold on to the custom kits right now. Put Baby Panda in storage. I do like that Dollar horse though. I'm gonna use that for something, I think. In storage. Put in storage. Store this. There we go. Alright. So that's dealt with. Now we do have some fossils to give to Blithers. That was probably a freaking... No. Yeah! Take that, shooting stars. I wished on you. Also, I still like our giant dragon skeleton that I made. I'm quite a fan of that. I'm going to wish on that one and that one. Alright, now that we've done that, I can feel a little bit less bad about going swimming again. I just want to... Hey, it's Ketchup! Oh, she looks good in that blue apron thing. What's the latest? Video games are awesome. Although monster movies I can't do because I'm too much of a wimp. They're scary and I don't like them. And I don't have anyone to hide behind through all the scary bits. Although speaking of, there is a horror game coming out soon that I'm very excited about. Because apparently it's coming out this month, Deadly Premonition 2. I thought this wasn't coming out until like November, but yeah, coming out in July. Pretty excited about it actually. I love Deadly Premonition. It's the kind of horror game I can get behind because it's not overtly like jump out startled type of scares or anything. Like I don't like jump scares, first of all because they're not scary, they're just startles more than anything, but also, you know, I just don't like that sort of thing, whereas Deadly Premonition, I think, had a better type of scariness to it, which was like just a deep, persistent feeling about it, as opposed to, you know, just a sudden moment of shock and then it's over. And speaking of, this is kind of tangential, I played this homebrew Game Boy game that was basically exactly like that, and I love it. And I'm gonna have to, I think I'm gonna have to review it. We got a Cosmos shower from Pearl. She is out there. She just wants me to find her on one of these islands and bring her home. And she's giving me a DIY recipe to do it. Oh, that's... I got a gift from Pearl and it's something I can actually use. That makes me happy. Today's a good day, I think. That's actually really cute. I like that. I don't think I have a lot of pink Cosmos. I think I have one. But I guess we'll start picking them. Because I want that Cosmos shower and I want it yesterday. We could leave it outside and people can shower off after swimming in the ocean. Because you should do that. It's not good to have like ocean residue on you. It's worse to have like chlorine from like a pool on it, but still you just want to wash that stuff off, I assume. But that's coming from someone who has basically no connection to the ocean whatsoever. I kind of feel bad about that, honestly. Like I said, I did have quite a passion for marine biology growing up, so not being anywhere near the ocean kind of sucks. I think we had one. Yep, we did have one. We'll just have to make more, I guess. Oh well. we're one, I think, third the way to getting that fulfilled. Very exciting, very exciting. I think we're pretty close to having the entire flower set. We might actually already have it. And that's cool. I do like the flower set a lot. I would like you to assess some fossils. And then, I'm going to give you a sea urchin to put in your ocean tanks. Then I might go swimming again and find more ocean stuff. I'm going to tell you right now, this does not look like a wetsuit. It looks like a hoodie. It even has, like, the hood on the back right there. And I'm pretty sure a wetsuit's supposed to, like, you know, cover your legs as well. It's literally... Also, I'm pretty sure wetsuits don't have big zippers on the front. This is literally a hoodie. What the hell? Okay, well, whatever. Oh, right, I have to give you an urchin. Right. Okay, I want you to assess some fossils that I don't have. But I would like to make a donation, my friend. I didn't have a saw stag yet? Alright, you take this one, buddy. Tell me all about stag beetles because I think they're neat. Yes. They look like saws. Neat. No. Stag beetles are so cool. Better than those lame rhinoceros beetles, I'll tell you that much. Alright, tell me about sea urchins, because I actually don't know all that much about them other than don't step on them or you're in for bad times. The unabashed goth of the ocean floor. You know, I think that's one of those just things you're going to hear at one point in your life. And it's just going to be random and out of place, and it will stick with you for the rest of your entire life. I kind of want to see a punk rock band with someone with a hairstyle like a giant sea urchin, or like maybe a hat that looks like a sea urchin. Sea stars eat sea urchins? Really? Huh. It has feet. Interesting. Tube feet. That actually was quite informative. Thank you, Blithers. It's always fun going to the museum. I wish I had any one of them near me, but I don't. Alas. I got some ideas for what to do around the outside. Like, I like those skeletons there. That's perfect, I think. But I have one or two, like, landscaping ideas for it as well. Not 100% on it, though. Like I said, I don't have any concrete stuff here, but, you know, what can you do? Aw. Hey, Vermilion. Thanks for the subscription, again. Okay. How you doing? I've been running around swimming and missing all the shooting stars and feeling bad about it. Also, this wetsuit is not a wetsuit. It is clearly a hoodie. I don't think it would be an effective wetsuit at all, really. Oh, I should probably sell this stuff. Are you excited for any of the myriad of games coming out this month? I'm curious, because I just learned, like, every game I want this year is coming out this month for some baffling reason. Normally that's the end of the, year. Life is what it is, but I'm making the best of it. As much as I can, anyway. Alright, sell that. I want to hold on to that, but I'll get rid of that. Yeah, that's good. I'm going to sell all that and make a crap ton of bells. Holy crap. Oh, there's a house payment right there. I'm gonna go put that in my bank account so that I can earn literally nothing for interest on it. And then I think we're gonna go swimming again. Excuse me, KK. I didn't even realize there was a sequel to Bloodstained. I still have to play the first one. Alright. I don't know how I lost my chain again, but I did. It's like Microsoft rewards. For whatever reason, even if you do everything every day, it still says you lost your chain, and then it punishes you for it. And Microsoft rewards sucks, is what I'm saying. Let's deposit some money. That would explain why I've not heard about it. I mean, I'm still reeling over the fact that apparently Deadly Premonition 2 is coming out in a few days. I genuinely thought it was coming out in November. But I'm very excited about it because Deadly Premonition is awesome. I think that's a different color leaf print swimsuit than the one I have, but that is seriously just a hoodie. Oh, it's the spin-off. Cool. I still haven't played any of those games. I think I've got one of them on my Xbox for free as part of like Games with Gold or whatever. I've never actually played it though. I've got so many games on my Xbox I want to play that I just haven't had the time for it. See, I might like the 8-bit one more because I liked the old school Castlevanias better than Symphony of the Night, honestly. That is a different wetsuit, and it's a nicer shade of green. I'm gonna buy it because I'm petty like that. And these leaves are clearly vaguely yellow, and I don't care much for the color yellow. It's gonna be the exact same one, I'm sure. That's gonna annoy me, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Okay, let's buy this. Yes, that does not look yellow, so I'm gonna take that. Thank you. But, yeah, that's pretty exciting that there's a new Bloodstain coming out. And then there's the new Paper Mario, which, honestly, I've heard nothing but bad things about Paper Mario. I have not been able to find one to play since I rented, like, the N64 ones back in the day, which sucks. Because I really like Paper Mario. But I think I'll probably end up getting that, even though it's not really what I know Paper Mario to be. And then there's, they remade Friends of Mineral Town. You got to play Sticker Star? Yeah, I've heard that a lot. Actually, come to think of it, I did play Super Paper Mario very, very briefly, and I hated every moment of it. So I can't say I haven't played much of any others, but still, you know, I really want to get more into Paper Mario, even if it's not really what we know Paper Mario to be. I'm pretty excited. I don't know how I feel about them remaking Friends of Mineral Town, though. Because that's a badass bug right there. Yeah. They did change Super Paper Mario. That was weird. I didn't like that so much. I like the RPG ones, what can I say? But then I heard that it kind of went back to sort of RPGs. I'm working right now on my Wii U Switch collection, of course, and as a member of the Discord plug, you, I'll put that up when it's done first there, but one of the few Switch games, or Switch Wii U games I still want to get is the Paper Mario game for that, even though I've been told it's really not good. See, yeah, you could say that Friends of Mineral Town looks like a cheap 3D remake, but then I have to point out all the other Harvest Moon games that exist right now, and they all look like really bad phone games. And that's because they're made by a completely different, like, group of people. It's really bizarre. Like, for those of you out there who care and don't know, apparently Harvest Moon, the name anyway, belongs to the publishers of the people who used to publish Harvest Moon. But then their quality started to drift really, really bad, so the developers who actually made it decided, hey, we're not going to let you do it anymore. But they couldn't keep the name, so they had to change it. So the original publishers who have been making really crappy stuff since, like, the DS still make Harvest Moon, and it looks like bad phone games, whereas the people who actually make Harvest Moon are making Story of Seasons now. which is, in Japan, still the same name as Harvest Moon, which is not at all remotely confusing. That's new. Also, that looks like a wallet, but okay. I'm inclined to agree. Rune Factory is where it's at, but the thing is, I've only played 3 Rune Factory games. I played the original, which I liked, but it had some issues. Then I played the abysmally bad PS3 one about, like, running around pulling islands out of the sea, and that game was just abysmal because it had nothing to do with anything. But that said, you can also go find my, like, 15-minute rant video about that somewhere. One of my more popular videos for some reason, even though the quality's pretty crap. And I played Frontier, which I thought was awesome. And I know the 4th one got remade for the Switch. I really want to get a copy of that, but I don't have money. So, that was a terrible, terrible game. And the funny thing is, like, every couple of days I'll get, like, a new comment on it saying, like, oh, you're just wrong, this is a great game. It's like, no, it really isn't. I've heard 4 is pretty great. That's why I'm kind of excited about the Switch version. I'm gonna have to play that at some point. Probably when it goes on sale. But, you know, Friends of Mineral Town, I'm 50-50 on, because I'm imagining it's probably going to include all the stuff from the girl version that added a whole bunch of crazy stuff, and I'm gonna bet they probably relocalized it so it's actually better translated, which is good. But I also noticed that they, like, changed character designs, and that makes me worried. Like, I don't know if they messed with my favorite character, and if they did, I will be absolutely crushed. Because I'll probably just have to play that, like, totally The Bachelor life at that point, and that sucks, because the first thing I like to do in Harvest Moon is to find a girl I like and get married. Yeah, I could see why it would put you off, but at the same time, comparing that to any other Harvest Moon game out there right now, at least Harvest Moon, as in both in the name and the other ones in the Stories of Seasons series, which I've never had a chance to play, really want to, it at least looks like it's trying to be vaguely faithful and give you what it was originally. And that's good, because the original is one of the best Game Boy Advance games, but it also has some of the problem of having not so great audio, and the visuals definitely looking a bit dated nowadays. So, I'm gonna take a chance on it. Hopefully it's good. But as long as it's not as bad as, say, like, the Switch remake to The World Ends With You, I'll be fine. As long as it's, like, vaguely reminiscent of how the game should play and stuff, I'll be fine. That, and they don't mess with Karen's design. If they mess with Karen's design, I'm gonna be upset. Because she was my girl in those games. All the way back on Harvest Moon 64, man. Well, you should. If you like Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town is probably the best one. A lot of people say it's basically just a handheld remake of Back to Nature, and that's pretty true, but it adds a whole bunch of stuff. I still... Deep in my heart of hearts, I like Harvest Moon 64 more, but that game has really not aged well. As much as I love it, all the characters are stuck in place and are robots. They have no personality, and they don't actually adhere to any sort of schedule. They just teleport around. And there's no shortcuts to inventory slots, which is the worst. So you have to, like, open up the menu, which takes 2 seconds every time you want to do it. It's just terrible. But I still love it. I am pretty jealous you got a copy of the Xenoblade remake, because I really want one myself, but again, no Xenoblade is one of my favorite Switch games, Wii U games. Wii and Wii U, actually. I originally bought Xenoblade when it was first announced as not coming to North America. Like, I was genuinely going out and trying to get a imported European copy. And then I actually got a North American copy, and then the fun thing was, my Wii could not play it, because apparently it was just too old. So then I had to get a Wii U just to play Xenoblade. And it was frickin' worth it, I'll tell you that much. Say what you will about the Wii U. Worth it just to play original Xenoblades. Worth it even more to play Xenoblades Cross. Because that's basically Xenoblade with mechs. and I like mechs. And literally before I started streaming this, I was actually recording that for my collection video, because, god damn it, that game is still fun. Yeah, I would probably agree. It looks better through HDMI, I imagine. I saw some of the cutscenes, and the fact alone that the characters' faces aren't bitmaps and are actually like modeled on their characters, that alone makes me want to buy the game. Like, I'm not a big graphics guy, but the fact that their faces were like 2D sprites on 3D models, that was like some PS1 grade stuff right there. So to see them actually make proper 3D models for the faces, that's enough to get me in on that game. Also, I just love Xenoblade. And the entire Xeno series, except maybe Xenosaga, because I've played one of those games and it was just abhorrent. But yeah, that game, as much as I love it, it hasn't aged well. I'm glad it got a remake. I think it does need one. I'm hoping Xenoblade Cross gets a remake on the Switch as well, so you can get the entire series on that system, because, well, at that point, the Switch is one of the best systems. I played the first Xenosaga, and I actually own the second one, but I've never played it, just because I could not muster up the will to actually try. I got to the point in the first game where you got off the ship as Xion, and I was just like, okay, Xion's boring and Cosmos is unsufferable. I don't want to deal with any of these characters. I feel like I need to go back and actually play them again, because I love Xenoblades, I love Xenogears. I need to get a copy of that at some point. There's got to be something in Xenosaga I really like on a fundamental level, and it's just, I feel like I haven't given it enough of a chance, but at the same time I feel like it didn't give me enough of a chance to like it. I've never actually seen a copy of the third Saga game, though. So 3's the best one, huh? Interesting. Well, I have the first one and the second one, although I've never played the second one, and I've only played the first, like, tutorial area of the first one and gave up. I feel like I need to go back and try to do that again, but I think I would have to get to a point where I just don't want to play literally anything else in my collection before that. And that's tricky, because my collection also includes RPGs that I can go back at any time and play over and over again, like Skies of Arcadia and Tales of Symphonia. Like, Final Fantasy VI, I can go back and play those games, like, unlimited numbers of times. And Final Fantasy VI is, like, the perfect summer game for me. Like, every summer I play it. Same with, like, at the start of summer I'll play, like, Mega Man 7, and at the end I'll play, like, Mega Man X2. That was meant to be a 6-game series. Oh my god. I'm kind of glad it wasn't. I don't know, hearing that makes me think a lot of the Dot Hack series. And, like, just, you know, as much as I do enjoy those games, even if they're not fundamentally all that great, they are a pain in the ass to find now, just because they made, like, so many in a series, and they're, like, individually, some of them are really, really rare. Some of them aren't. Pokemon Crystal, that's a good one. Speaking of Pokemon, I gotta get back to my playthrough of Ruby on stream at some point. I'm hoping once I do my Switch collection, I'll get on that. But, back in the day for me, it was Silver. I didn't have Crystal. I got Crystal recently just so that I could replay 2nd Gen on stream. I liked Crystal a lot, aside from the fact they removed Marip. That I didn't understand. That was a weird choice. But 2nd Gen Pokemon's very, very good. I like that a lot. Oh yeah, then of course, this month is also Ghost of Tsushima, which is actually a game I know basically nothing about, but I'm gonna get it. Because it looks very interesting. And I don't have a lot to play on my PS4 right now. Aside from both Trails of Cold Steel games. And the Yakuza collection. Let's see what our sea life looks like now. But, You know, going back and talking about like the multiple releases of Xenosaga and like Dot Hack, you know, my introduction to Dot Hack was weird because I did something absolutely stupid. I was the biggest goddamn idiot in the day. I saw the entire Dot Hack collection in a bargain bin at a GameStop for the price of like $5 each, and instead I bought, what was it, Shepherd's Crossing, which if you've never played is abhorrently bad. And now I'm trying to get all the Dot Hack games, and I've got 2 of the GU ones, I don't have like the rare 3rd one, and I have the first one of the original set. And it's just like, oh god, I'm never getting this full set. And I've got the digital GU set, but it's like, you know, the side of these boxes has a mural. I need that completed. Like, that's gonna bug my OCD forever if I don't. See, I would say it looked to me sort of like a better version of, well, I shouldn't say better because it was a good game, but it was just really, really hard to get into. But it looked like a more forgiving version of Sekiro. And I liked Sekiro, even if I couldn't beat it. I got stuck in a giant poison hole with people with guns shooting at me every 2 seconds. But what really killed my will to actually play Sekiro was just the fact that it had so very few options. Like, you have your sword, you have, like, a secondary item, and that's about it. And there's, like, no variance. But it looks vaguely Dark Souls-ish, and I love Dark Souls, so, you know, I'm willing to give it a shot. It looked good. And it's one of, like, the few really interesting looking things to come out on the PS4 recently. That leaf bug actually looks like an item leaf. That's a nice feature in this game. I don't know where that Weevil thing is. There was a Weevil. See, I could see Sekiro starting as Tenchu. I'm not someone who's super, super familiar with Tenchu. I actually just recently got my first Tenchu game, which was the PS2 one. And I liked it, but I could not for the life of me get around the controls. Like, the controls are, if I recall, it's entirely like D-pad based, and I can't stand that. Actually, another game I got with Tenchu at the time was Neo Geo Battle Coliseum, which is like such a cool fighting game. But for whatever reason, despite it being on a PS2, it's entirely D-pad based as well, which is just uncomfortable to play. It's like just ridiculously hard on my hands. Yes, Wrath of Heaven, I believe, is what it is. I think. I'm gonna look it up. Because I have no memory. Tenchu, Wrath of Heaven. Look at the box art. Yes, that looks like the one I've got. Huh. I guess I didn't look in the controls too much. I was just recording like 15 minutes of gameplay for my loot video. But I know the default control scheme seemed a little bit weird. It also seemed weird for a stealth game because, at least in the tutorial area, it kind of shoves you into areas that you absolutely have to fight your way out of, and I don't like that so much. As an old hand at the Thief games, I like to play stealthy, and I like to play stealthy well. So forcing me into combat, that doesn't gel so well with me, I don't think. That's a new one, a Welk. Don't shoot it when it's in its shell, or else your life will be hell. I remember that. I really wanted to get into, like, the Tenchu games. The problem is, I didn't have a PS1 back in the day. I've never had a PS1. But I didn't have anything that could play PS1 games until, like, 2011. So, my experience with, like, the entire Sony backlog is kind of non-existent. But that's kind of part of what makes my YouTube channel so great, is I can actually, under the guise of it being work, actually explore a greater number of games than I would have ever thought of trying. And, like, whole different control schemes and games and systems. I mean, before this, I basically had never played a Game Boy Color game. At least one that was Game Boy Color exclusive. And now I'm collecting Game Boy Color stuff, and it's great. I'm totally okay with stealth kills. I just don't like when the game basically forces you into combat, like active combat. Like, you are actively recognized and you need to fight your way out of this. Like, I don't like that. I like sneaking around. I like taking people out covertly. I don't like being forced to actually fight. Because, first of all, it's antithetical to the whole stealth genre, really. I get that you need some way to get yourself out of an alerted state, unless you sort of like make it Master Thief mode where you're automatically game overed if you're detected, but a lot of times in stealth games, if you end up in active combat, you have to use the game's combat system, you know, obviously, but the thing is, stealth games very rarely have decent combat systems. That's why they're stealth games. They want to make it so that fighting is not really your first course of action. Unless your name is Dishonored, in which case you're also not an actual stealth game, but they want to make you feel like it. But I have opinions about Dishonored, and Assassin's Creed, and Metal Gear, and pretty much everything that claims to be stealth related. Yeah, I don't care for that so much. Deus Ex actually did it pretty well. The problem was, at least the original part of Human Revolution screwed that up. But that's because they, like, they loaded the battles off onto another company entirely, as I understand it. Which I don't know why you would ever do that, because Deus Ex Human Revolution was, for the most part, a pretty damn good game. Its endings were crap, and it felt like it needed one or two more hub areas, and going back to the same hub areas over and over sucked. And, you know, the bosses sucked, but otherwise it was a pretty great game. Speaking as an old fan of original Deus Ex, anyway. Get rid of some sea grapes. Although Mankind Divided, I've got opinions about. Because that game makes me angry. That's a game I spent an absurd amount of time starting, like for perspective, I got to the opening area, like the first hub after, well, the only hub in that game, but the first hub after the tutorial. I proceeded to spend about 2 days worth of, like legitimately 48 hours just exploring every single place I could go to before I actually continued the plot. It was awesome. And then the game just turned out to be pretty much crap after that. My biggest issue with Mankind Divided is it had one boss, and then it just sort of ended before literally anything in the story actually happened. It was weird. And I don't know if they ever fixed that with DLC or anything, but it felt like the story never really started. The one boss it had was good, for what it's worth, and the fact that they let you handle it any way you want, and heck, you can even ignore the boss, that's pretty cool. But I don't know, it felt like so much was just set for an awesome sequel, and they just kind of completely ignored it. Is there a ton of DLC? I know there's microtransactions, and that pissed me off. I never bothered with that. I just played the base game. Tell me about it. Tell me not to shoot it when it dives into its shell, or else they make life hell for you. And your ride armors. Or whatever they're called. Wily snails. Huh. That's actually pretty interesting. They have a tongue-like organ with thousands of teeth? That's... okay, that's straight up out of a horror story. I have a tongue that's just made of teeth. Sure. Nope, that's an image that's just stuck there now. Thanks. Yeah, I can see that game having a lot of story DLC. Which is a shame because I think it just needed to, you know, have a fully fleshed out story. Because there was a lot about it that just felt like they didn't include half the actual plot they needed to. Okay, we gotta sell this crap. I don't know, I've been trying to find a lot of games that are sort of like Deus Ex, and, you know, I've found some middling success with, like, some B-grade RPGs. What I'm playing recently is, and I've got a review that should be coming out in a couple days, but I still have a lot of editing, so hopefully I'll get it done tonight, but probably not. Greedfall kind of reminds me a little bit of Deus Ex, because there's multiple routes through, like, every environment, and there's, like, just tons of insane amounts of, like, ways you can get out of conflicts. And it feels like you never actually have to fight anyone in the game, which is pretty cool. But it also feels like combat was a little bit weirdly balanced. Greedfall is a pretty fun game. I will spoil that for you right now. I will say the core premise of the story, I think, is a little bit lukewarm, which is a shame because it actually has some really genuinely great writing. Like, I would say it's easily one of the best written games I've played this year, but I will also say the main premise for the story feels very, very weak. So it's really, and I came to this conclusion while I was actually reviewing it, because I was like, you know, I'm talking about this, and I'm like, okay, what about this did I actually like? Because the main story isn't really my jam. It seems very, very, very easy and uninspired, and yet something about the writing I really, really liked. But as for how it looks, it also has some visual issues, I'm not going to lie. For example, the faces look amazing. Like, I don't want to use the term photorealistic at any point, because I know a week from now, graphics will look a million times better, and that statement will be a joke. But the faces do look very, very good when they're not moving. The moment faces move, they get weird, because it's like the teeth and jaws inside the mouths were animated separately from, like, the actual outside of the face. So it looks almost like a bad animatronic with, like, a human face skin over top of it. Like, you can see their teeth moving in, like, a way that their jaw really shouldn't be. And also, capes will probably drive you mad if you're a graphics person. I'm not, but capes are weird because, first of all, they're not actually physically connected to your character in any way, and the physics on them make them jitter all over the place really awkwardly. But Greedfall is one of the best games I've played this year, I think. Even if it's genuinely a absolute B-grade RPG with a lot of issues. Got another scallop, but unfortunately Pascal does not want to give me more mermaid stuff. But you know, Greedfall's also on sale pretty frequently for like 20 bucks or less, so if you can get it for that price, absolutely do it. Because that is a great deal for that game. Spoilers for my review, which might be one of my longest reviews. When I finished recording, I had over an hour of audio I had to pare down, and I'm only halfway done. But, yeah, Greedfall's very, very good, I think. Although I will say, combat is completely unbalanced. And, like, there's just one objective way to play combat in that game, and then the rest of the ways are just wrong. And I learned that on the first boss. Because that is not a game for sword fighting. If you're sword fighting in that game, you are actively hobbling yourself. Although I will say the leveling system, I like some of the things it does, but I don't like some of the other things. Like, it's got 3 separate leveling systems, kind of. In that it has, like, active combat skills, passive combat buffs, as well as passive, like, environmental stuff you can do. And each of them are tied to your levels, but they don't level up at the same time. Like, you get an active combat skill points every level, and then you get, like, a passive combat one every 3 levels, and then you get, like, a passive environmental one every 4 levels. So the only time you ever get, like, a level for everything is, like, every, like, level divisible by 12, which is a bit peculiar. That's a new one. A pear oyster. I wonder, can I open that and get myself a pearl? Because I need those, apparently. So, Greedfall, it has a lot of issues, but I think it's a lot of fun. For the most part. Although, if you also want to talk about bad stealth, that game has got some abysmal stealth. It's a shame because they tried a couple different stealth systems actively in-game and, like, none of them work. And I have to recognize, definitely they tried, but they really, really needed to refine a lot of it. But honestly, I hope they make a sequel. I hope the people who make Greedfall continue to make a lot of RPGs and stuff, and I really hope they get better. It was actually pretty fascinating, because after playing it, I was curious, you know, who are these developers? Have they made anything else? And, you know, it's funny, they made all the, like, really cheap-looking Xbox Live RPGs that are on sale every week for $1. And it's like, you know, those games don't look great, but, you know, if they're made by this team, for $1 each, I kind of want to support them. And who knows? Maybe they'll be pretty good. Hey! There's a shell on this beach. That's never happened before. Oh. And it still hasn't. Okay, so I can't actually open a pearl oyster. Interesting. But I need the pearl inside. What am I to do? Am I supposed to find a rock and smash it? Because I'm pretty sure I have to give it to Blithers. So that it's in my museum decks or whatever. Diving! Woo! Got some barnacles! Fun story, I am actually trying to find some very tiny barnacles for something I'm working on right now, for like a little project. Unfortunately, living in the middle of a country away from any form of body of water is making that kind of tricky. Oh, did they do Styx? Because I think I've got, like, both Styx games and the game that they're a prequel to for free on Xbox Live as well. Interesting. I don't think I've ever actually looked into Vampire, spelled with a Y. I might have to look into that one, though. I know I've got Techromancer, which... Technomancer, sorry. Techromancer was the Dreamcast fighting game that was really, 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 really good and also expensive. But Technomancer, that game was made by them, which I think was a sequel to Mars Warlogs, but I might be wrong. I actually haven't played either of them. But I might have to now, because Greedfall was really good. Flawed, beyond belief, but still good. Tell me about my oyster and give me my pearl, please. Wow, they can live... Wow, that's impressive. Can you give me the pearl now, please? Yeah, pearls are really interesting because it's just a grain of sand that just sort of gets smoothed out over time. Gotta admit, if you had an irritant stuck in your mouth for years before it actually became soft, that would be maddening. I'm glad I'm not a pearl oyster. Can I have my pearl, please? No, he's not going to give it to me. Maybe there wasn't one in that one. I know I couldn't open it, and that made me sad, because I need pearls to make mermaid stuff. Which we need to give to Marina, because she needs to live in an underwater castle. I've decided. I don't know, I'm still trying to figure out, like, what game coming out this month I'm really excited for. Oh, there's another pearl oyster. Can I get my pearl now, please? Because Paper Mario, I don't know, I've heard lots of bad things about Paper Mario since, so I don't know. But I love Paper Mario. And, you know, Harvest Moon, pretty excited about that. How do I get the pearl out of this oyster? I wonder. Maybe I have to place it? Well, that's not useful. At all. I'm gonna look this up because I'm curious. Let's see. ACNH Pearl. How to get pearls. Okay. How to get pearls. Just like any other sea creature, pearls can be... Huh. Okay, so this is dumb, but pearls are somehow not connected to pearl oysters, even though Blithers is expressly explaining how they're connected. Okay. So pearls are just the thing you have to fish up like anything else. That seems peculiar to me. But we got some sea grapes. Yeah, my brother's been enjoying Persona 4 Golden quite a lot on Steam right now, too. And to be fair, it's a great game. I mean, it still has some of the issues I have with Persona 4 in general, but, you know, it's still a pretty good game. And most of my issues with Persona 4 are with its writing. I don't know, I just wish they'd release Persona 3 in a way that there was, like, a definitive, like, best version to play, because there isn't, and it's maddening. Because you can get a version that has, like, all the cutscenes and everything, as well as a bonus chapter that's honestly garbage, but still. But you'll have no control over your characters, or you can control your characters, but you'll lose all the cutscenes and all the social running around aspects, which feels sort of inherent to the experience. I don't know, it's weird there's no definitive version of Persona 3 out there. Which I tentatively still want to say is probably my favorite. Although Persona 5 is really, really good. And I really want to play Royal at some point. Also, I'm super jealous my brother's got like the crazy awesome super version of that. With the mask and everything. Oh, super jealous about that. Oh, we got another one of these pencil urchins. I think that would probably be the best way to do it, would be to play Fess with a mod or something like that. The problem is I don't emulate too much. I certainly don't emulate PS2 stuff. I've got a Raspberry Pi for emulation stuff, but it's mostly just for recording stuff at a better look than saved through AV cables, as well as some general research stuff. But yeah, I have to admit, it's bizarre they've never gone out of their way to just release a perfect version of Persona 3. I agree. My brother, like I said, he got the crazy super version that came with the entire OST, and he copied it and sent it to me. And I have to admit, I've been rocking out to the soundtrack to Royal as well. Although I will still say, Life Will Change from the original is still the best song. That is a song I listened to for over 24 hours straight on loop, and I don't regret it for a moment. But, yeah, Persona 5 has some great music. Great aesthetic, great themes. I'm also just a sucker for Gentleman Thief characters, so basing an entire game around that makes me very happy. Got a tiger prawn. I think we've donated one of those already. And I can't check because I can't access any of my actual inventory while swimming. That's a problem. Yeah, for sure. The soundtracks to Persona 5 Royal are so good. Makes me want to play it even more. I'll just have to deal with my original version for the time being. But, you know, if you've got a PS4, I think Persona 5 is, like, one of the few games for it that I think are absolute must-haves. You know, I won't lie, I'm very critical of, I guess, what we're calling current gen, which is going to be last gen in a few months, I guess. But, I mean, it's to the point where I still consider the current gameplay generation to still be next gen. There's just so little for it that I think is absolutely must-play. Like, on PS4, there's Persona 5, there's, I would say, Horizon Zero Dawn and Yakuza 0. And that would probably be everything that's... You know what, I will also give it to, what is it, EDF 2205 or whatever it is, the PS4 exclusive one. EDF 5. Bloodborne. You know, I've been meaning to do like a let's play of that with my buddy Caleb because he really wants to play it with me again, but you know, I played Bloodborne. I could not get through it, honestly. I found it to be kind of just not that interesting, and I think part of it's because it took a lot of design cues from Demon Souls, which I think was a very flawed experience. Not to say Dark Souls wasn't, but I think it improved a lot of things that Bloodborne kind of ignored. It had some features I really liked. I liked that every weapon transforms into a different weapon. That's a very cool feature. And there's one moment in that game that absolutely stands out to me as being one of like the greatest current-gen experiences. When you go to, I can't even remember what it is, I think it was like called the Old Town or whatever. And there's like a giant door that just says, "Do not enter," and you go in and there's a guy standing on a tower and he's just like, "I told you not to enter," and then he busts out this giant Gatling gun and you have to like run around trying not to get shot. That is one of the coolest moments in recent gaming, I think. In modern gaming, anyway. That is just awesome. But, I don't know, I found a lot of Bloodborne to just be kind of lukewarm, but I think part of that's because fundamental part of its mechanics, I think, is antithetical to the whole Souls style of play, where it's all about, you know, not getting hits and trying to find the best way to counter your opponents and stuff. Bloodborne has a feature that's, if you take damage, you can basically recover all your damage if you just melee attack your opponent a whole bunch. And I found that to just be kind of completely wrecking the difficulty of that. I did get to him, actually. Apparently he's a friend if you take a different route through there, but I honestly never want to ever do that again, because taking the route that I did to him, that was just so much fun. Like, I don't want to sell that octopus. That goes to Marina. I've sold that. Well, I'll sell these two. That guy is ridiculous, but you get a really cool weapon from him, too. I've heard he's tougher than some of the actual bosses as well. I don't know. The only boss I ran into that I actually had trouble with was the first one, Father Gascione. And that's just because I really hadn't gotten a feel for like the weapons or like the actual like new mechanical style of how the game plays. Like, I'm fine with not carrying a shield around and just rolling around stuff. Like, that's fine. That's how I played Dark Souls as well. But still, the whole recovering health and playing a lot more offensively, that to me just didn't gel quite right. I don't know. But like I said, I've been meaning to go back and play that again. Because I never did finish it. I think I got to this giant church with a giant poison thing in it or something. I know I went to the place that's like the real version of the hub place, and I got like the clothes from the doll and stuff. I remember that, but I genuinely don't remember how far I got. And those games are, of course, rather non-linear, so it's really hard to judge how far you got anywhere. Really. I mean, the original Dark Souls, you can get through like half the game before even having to kill the second boss, if you do things exactly a specific way. Which also reminds me, I need to play Neo as well. I bought that digitally years ago, and I still haven't had the chance to play it, and I should probably do that, because there is a sequel out there, too. Yeah, I'd say I was probably about a quarter, maybe a third the way through. I don't think I was halfway through, based on what I've heard people say about the length of the game, but I don't know. I don't know. I also didn't necessarily care for the lack of variance in equipment. Like, all the outfits look basically identical. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm the kind of person who plays with the stuff that might not statistically be the best, but looks the best. Yes, I wear entirely the Ornstein armor, unless I augment it with bits of Artorias' gear. That's just how I am. But I do look... I love the aesthetic of the game. Like, I love these sort of like 1800s London sort of look it's got going on. That's a very cool style. But I just wish some of the outfits looked a bit more distinct, because a lot of the stuff just looks like the same overcoat with like a vague cape type thing attached to it. And that to me is kind of boring. I don't know. I'm always a big proprietor of style points, I guess. Style points are important. It's an important life lesson you need to learn at some point. It's just style points. Don't go swimming in a hoodie covered in yellow leaves and say it's a wetsuit, because people will call you a fool. And yet here we are. I really hope there's some better looking wetsuits in this game, because what I've seen so far I am not terribly impressed with. I'm also curious what those extra inventory slots for equipment are now. Because there's at least 2 more that aren't used yet, and I don't know what they could be for. Unless they're finally going to give us a license to use a submarine or something. Maybe a hang glider. That'd be kind of cool. Maybe flippers to swim faster, because swimming is intolerably slow in this game. I don't know, but I like Dark Souls style games. They're fun. I still don't think there's ever been one quite as good as the original Dark Souls, but I like the style of game. I played the metric crap ton out of the Surge, although I gave up on the sequel because I found the sequel just to be boring. I played Sekiro, although I kind of got stuck, and I didn't like the variance or lack thereof of equipment. Like, seriously, you get one weapon, and then you get just some, like, support items. Wasn't a big fan of that. I've been meaning to go back and try and play that again, though. I don't think Dark Souls 2 deserves half the crap it gets. I think the Shrine of Amana alone is reason to think it's not a great game. Because, seriously, that place was designed by assholes, but I think it's better than a lot of people make it out to be. But that said, I don't think it remotely touches the original. And I think the third one is better than the second game, but the problem is it's ridiculously easy. Like, Dark Souls 3, the moment you beat the game, you can restart, as you can with any of these games, of course, and like, New Game Plus it. And New Game Plus in that game, in like Dark Souls 1, New Game Plus still meant that you had to like tactically play. It just meant you did more damage, but you still had to avoid things or you'd die. Dark Souls 3, you can tank everything and not die. It was a really, really jarring and bizarre experience. I've never played the DLC for Dark Souls 3, though. I think the DLC was one of the few things Dark Souls 2 did really exceptionally well, though, because some of the DLC in Dark Souls 2 was really good. Like, the Sunken Crown, that was a great one. The Sunken City or whatever it is. I had an absolute blast with that. Plus, the crazy puzzle sword from that was a fun weapon. I played the other one, the Tower, which, that was an interesting one because basically the entire level was descending your way down this giant tower to fight a giant monster at the bottom, all while, like, destroying these, like, statuettes. And the funny thing is, there wasn't enough things to handle all the statuettes, so if you did everything with every statuette prior, you'd actually get stuck in a boss fight with a severe disadvantage. And I will say that boss fight is stupid. I have never been able to actually beat that fight, which seems to be pretty consistent with a lot of people. A lot of people cannot beat, what's his name, the boss of that DLC. And I only dipped my toes into the, what is it, the Scorched King, or the last one that takes place in a giant ice city. I wasn't super a fan of that just because it introduced invisible bosses, and you can make them visible, but I just didn't like the idea of having to fight something invisible. Even if that was a deterrent to actually, you know, go around and do something else before you fight them. Foom Knight, yup. Freaking Foom Knight, man. Although I will say, as much as I will praise some of the DLC, first of all, Foom Knight is stupidly tough, but also, those DLC have some issues. Like, they all have, like, one major boss, and then they have, like, a secret boss, and the secret bosses in those DLCs are terrible. Like, the first one is just 4 NPC player characters that are just stupidly built. The DLC with the Foom Knights, the boss is a magic version of the Smelter Demon, which is an already existing boss that's just made slightly more bullshit. And what makes him actually suck is he's at the end of a gauntlet that has no checkpoints. So you're gonna literally show up... If you play a melee character, you're gonna show up at him basically dead, and then he's just gonna one-shot you. Like, that's just terrible. And then... Not a bonus boss, but a major boss in the first DLC, the Sunken Kingdom, was this lady whose entire job was you had to fight her, but she could summon characters, and it was entirely random what she'd summon, but one of the things she could summon was harder versions of actual bosses to just swarm you. So it's like, okay, so what happened to being a one-on-one fight is now a one-on-one fight plus, oh, suddenly there's 6 more bosses around. But it's random, so sometimes you can just summon a bunch of skeletons that are basically piss easy. I don't know. Like, that was just a poorly designed boss fight. But the giant dragon you fight after that's a ton of fun. That's a great fight. I will say I played that DLC wrong, though. Like, that's a DLC with a ton of shortcuts and stuff. I didn't take any of them. Excuse me. I literally just ran through it. Every time I died, just run through the entire DLC again and again and again. No shortcuts. And I don't know why I did it that way. It was just sort of how I did it. Also, it occurs to me I should go to the Nooklings soon because they're going to close. But Dark Souls 2, it had some good stuff in it. And some less good stuff. And you can fight Ornstein really early in that game, which is cool. But you can't get his armor, which sucks. But it is a good game, just not as good as the first one. Also, I really like the, what is it, Dark Stalker armor with the pyramid head. That outfit is awesome. It's a shame its drop rate's stupidly low, and it's against a really, really, really exceptionally rare enemy. Unless you're playing the Scholar of the First Sin version, in which case it's still a very, very rare drop against a very uncommon enemy, but... You know, it's a little bit more manageable to get that rather cool, stylish suit of light armor. Huh, shell partition. I can't make one of those right now, though. I kind of wonder what's going to be like the next official thing by From Software in the vaguely sort of Souls sphere. I think I've heard Bloodborne 2, which I guess would be okay. Although, again, I'm not the biggest fan of Bloodborne. If they made changes to, like, the outfits and got rid of that dumb mechanic of healing when you fight stuff, I think I could get behind it. Ashen Ring, really? You can look like Predator. Oh, that's cool. I was just like the Pyramid Head helmet. I hate that it's like a 0.5% drop rate on an enemy that only spawns in a update to a boss fight. That is like the worst drop ever. The fun thing is when I got Scholar of the First Sin and it just becomes an uncommon enemy that you can sometimes just find in certain areas. First one I fought, first one, drop the helmet. It's like, okay, done here now, thank you. I remember grinding for hours for that stupid thing. And it's such a good helmet, too. Oh, I don't want to... Yes, I do want to deposit. We made 200,000 bells just fishing up sea creatures today. We're pretty close. Just like 800,000 more, and we can pay off our debt. And feel bad that we still don't have a tent anymore. And I have a giant mansion, but I don't really have anything to put inside it. Oh well, baby steps. Baby steps, baby steps. Also, we got Nook points. We should probably take advantage of that. We caught 20 different things. Surfing Pama. Ah, so it's finishing the Critterpedia, which tells me there's 40. So we've got about half the Critterpedia. We can take a look just to confirm that. Yep, looks like it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yep, we've now got half this thing done. Still no pearls to actually craft with, though. But, you know. Baby steps. Baby steps. Maybe tomorrow. Woo! And we've been doing this for an hour and a half. So I think we'll call it here, but I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, follow the stream to know when we go live, because we do this every night. Plus, other stuff when I have the time. Hopefully going to get back into Pokemon. I'm thinking I might be able to do it tonight if I happen to get enough done on Greedfall. Depends. Hoping to get on Mario once I'm done my collection video, which should be within the week. So, again, tentatively, hopefully, look forward to that. You might also want to subscribe and check out to my YouTube channel to see everything else I do, which is a lot of stuff. I do need to put out some gameplay stuff. I've got Pirate Game stuff coming up. And I should have a review of Greedfall coming out within a day or two. Again, it's a lot bigger than I thought it would be, so it might take a little bit. I apologize, but look forward to that. And if you really want to make my day, check out the show's PayPal or Patreon. Support the show any way you can so that I can continue to do what I do to the best of my ability, which is be an absolute ace at diving for sea life. Because holy crap, we just got 2 house payments out of that. Weirdly enough, you know, yesterday they didn't pay all that much. Now they're paying a metric crap ton. Maybe they balanced out the payouts or something, but we might pay off this house yet. Then we just have to worry about filling it with stuff. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, Internet.